I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but lately I've been finding myself feeling either stuck or frazzled or both when it comes to my work. I'm finding that I'm caught between doing everything all at once or unable to start anything at all. It's been like this all or nothing kind of mindset for me lately. I've also been noticing a lot of overwhelm coming from my phone, of course. I'm sure that if you couldn't relate to the last point, you can definitely relate to this one. Checking my email, my social media, my texts throughout the day, every notification, I feel like I have to look at it immediately, and I know that that's not a good and healthy place to be in. Even during supposed rest times in the evening, I am still overstimulated. I am either looking at my phone or I'm watching something on my laptop or on the TV, and I'm not fully resting. I'm just constantly keeping my brain occupied and stimulated, and I'm not giving myself a chance to just kind of sit with my thoughts. If all of this or a portion of this sounds like something that you've also been struggling with lately, this video will help you make small tweaks to your daily routine that will help you be more productive when it comes time to work, and will help you fully rest when it's time to unwind. Because those two things go hand in hand. You cannot fully show up and be present when it's time to work and be productive and get things done when you're not pouring into yourself during times when you're supposed to rest and just allow your mind and your body to be at peace. The goal is to really work towards mental clarity and not constantly feel like you're running on low battery or have a million different things on your mind. The first tip is to start with something small. This is especially important on days when you feel like your brain is flooded with all of the things that you need to do before you even open your eyes in the morning, before you've gotten out of bed. You're already feeling overwhelmed and unsure of where to start. When the weight of your to-do list feels too heavy, oftentimes the temptation is to not start anything at all. I'm sure you've seen memes where it's like all of the stuff that I have to do, or like my super long to-do list, and then me taking a nap because that's honestly like our brains just kind of shut down at the thought of having to do all this stuff that we just feel like going and taking a nap or sitting on the couch and scrolling. But every journey, no matter how long, begins with one small step. So that's why, rather than allowing myself to ruminate on all of the things that I have to do, getting up and doing just one small thing gives me the momentum I need to start on everything else. It might sound silly, but even something as small as opening your blinds or making your bed can give you a sense of accomplishment first thing in the morning that will allow you to be in the right headspace to tackle everything else after that. Now, on the flip side, if you work from home, there can also be a temptation to just grab your laptop first thing in the morning and begin work immediately. I've definitely been on that end of things as well, where I am editing a YouTube video that needs to go out that day, or I'm writing a home buyer client's offer, and I just want to jump right in without wasting any time on breakfast or anything else that I typically do in the morning. But this is not the better alternative for your physical and mental well-being long term. It kind of goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning. It cannot constantly be all or nothing. It cannot always be either I'm completely sucked into my work to the point where I'm not really taking care of myself, or I'm just scrolling on my phone and I'm unable to start on any tasks at all. We've got to find a healthy balance. I found in my own experience that it's really important to have moments of peace, like when you're changing out of your pajamas or when you're making breakfast for yourself before the whirlwind of the workday begins. That's why a lot of the times you might hear people advise that you don't check your phone first thing in the morning, because when you do that, all of these different news and events and messages instantly hit your eyes, and you're forced to hit the ground running, and you're not able to have a moment to kind of collect yourself and prepare yourself for the day. If you're constantly going back and forth between all or nothing, you are going to find yourself feeling so depleted and so exhausted. And then of course the result of that is that you're not going to be able to show up at 100% when it matters the most. The second tip is to take breaks, and if you think that taking breaks is counterintuitive to being more productive, think again. You're probably already getting distracted throughout the day and checking your phone when you're not supposed to, so if you do want to learn how to minimize distractions and improve your focus, you're going to have to allocate time to take breaks. Maybe you're like me and you carried over a cram mentality from high school or college into your working life, meaning that you try to fit a ton of work into a short period of time by forcing yourself to ignore distractions and just focus on that one thing very intensively. But the problem with that is you'll notice you're not as productive when you don't allow your brain to take a breather. This is especially true with any kind of creative work. give yourself an opportunity to step away from the project, go outside for a little bit, get a drink of water, enjoy a snack, maybe stretch for a couple minutes, and that will allow you to feel so much more focused and refreshed when you get back to your project. Really, the core issue with the cram mentality is thinking that hours and hours and hours of distracted work where you're not really allocating proper time for breaks is better than just 30 minutes to an hour to maybe a couple hours of truly focused work while taking breaks when you need to. And coming back to the phone for a second, ideally not every break period should be filled with just time on your phone because again, like we mentioned earlier, it's important for your brain to be able to take a breather, to rest from all that stimulation. But if you know that you have a break coming up, you're far less likely to check your phone when you're supposed to be working because you know that you're about to get an opportunity to do so. It's about being very intentional and calculated with both your work and your rest. The third tip I've got for you is to use a phone timer. And I know that I've mentioned this in previous videos, but honestly, it helps me so much. So I'm going to keep bringing it up because I think it really is a game changer. Using a timer on your phone to track your work sessions is going to be super helpful, mainly because it creates an extra layer of resistance, an extra barrier to swiping out of whatever app you're using the timer in and checking your socials while you're supposed to be working. I usually use the Pomodoro timer method for myself, so I will have 4 25-minute work sessions, and between each 25-minute work session, I have a 5-minute break. So going back to the previous point, using a timer helps me be more intentional with my breaks. So it'll be the 4 25-minute work sessions, 5-minute breaks in between, and once I complete those 4 work sessions, I'm able to take a long 25-minute break. And a quick bonus tip here, since we're talking about having the timer on our phones, turn your notifications off for most, if not all of your apps, especially social media apps like Instagram or TikTok, because whatever those notifications are, they're not urgent. You don't have to check them immediately. So turning those off will also really help you stay focused because you're not constantly being interrupted by notifications on your phone, and it will help you feel less overwhelmed because you're not feeling like a bunch of things are demanding your attention at the same time. The fourth tip is to move your body, and I urge you not to click off because I am not about to tell you to get a gym membership, and I know that a lot of people talk about the importance of exercise, and when you're having a hard time being productive in general, the thought of having some sort of exercise routine is just not even something that we're willing to consider. But I'm not talking about anything major like setting fitness goals, getting a gym membership, working out like a fiend every single day, but just moving your body in small ways like taking a daily walk outside, especially as the weather is getting nicer and spring is here, or just taking a few minutes to stretch or do some light cardio with like a YouTube tutorial playing in your living room. That's something that I really enjoyed doing when I was getting started with working out and moving my body. Those small changes can really make a big difference when it comes to your mental clarity. And this is really important, especially if you sit a lot for work. If a lot of your work involves being on your laptop or computer, this is going to, of course, help with your physical well-being, with your mobility. But I feel like it also, for me personally, helps me to just clear my head and feel like I'm not constantly up here all the time. And I don't know, just something about moving helps me kind of shake off stress, and when I'm coming back to my work after that, I feel like I'm able to be a lot more present. The fifth and final tip is to plan ahead, but not exactly in the way that you might be thinking. I do think it's important to have either a physical planner or a digital planner, or maybe even both, like in my case. But what I'm talking about is actually preparing your space and preparing like physically all of the things that you need in order to be successful that day. Basically what I'm talking about is, let's say you know you want to go to the gym in the morning. Rather than waking up and looking for all your stuff, trying to find your water bottle and figuring out where you put your sneakers so that you can get out the door, taking a few minutes the night before to lay out your workout clothes, to put your water bottle on the counter, to set your sneakers by the door is going to, again, eliminate that resistance in the morning of feeling like you're having to scramble to look for all your stuff. Planning ahead can also involve preparing your space, especially again if you work from home, making sure that you have a really clean desk area, that you've got everything that you need, all of your supplies, your pens, your paper, your laptop, your charger, everything is there and clean and ready for you, can help so much with just feeling excited to step into your office and get the day started. When you prepare your space and you prepare your stuff ahead of time, oftentimes what that will do is it will help build that momentum before you even started your day, and it will help you feel excited to do things because you've already laid everything out ahead of time and all you have to do is just do the tasks. If I know that my kitchen, my office, my YouTube studio, or even my car is a huge mess before I step into those spaces, I will dread going there. I will dread going there because I have to get everything prepared when what I'm supposed to be doing is focusing on my work. When I know that past Irina has already put in the time to make things beautiful and prepared for future Irina, my mood, my productivity, and just my motivation for the day will skyrocket. The bottom line is you have to figure out ways to remove barriers and remove resistance to the tasks that you need to do, and you need to put in equal time and thought and intention into not just your work time, but also your rest time. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, definitely consider subscribing for more personal development, productivity, motivational type of content. I really enjoy making videos like this for you, and I hope that you enjoy watching them. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you very soon for a brand new video. Bye!